So, once again, being the second to speak on the future, I have two problems. First is all the good jokes were already made. So that actually, I have 2 minutes to fill right now that I need to think on my feet. So actually, the first thing is, there's a saying in technology that is, every time you speak about the future, people do 2 mistakes. You always overestimate what's going to happen in the next 3 years. You always underestimate what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So I decided to take an approach here that essentially takes away, gets as much away as possible from technology and gets you into what are the trends that actually will shape what the new age of television. And I hope that when we finish this 15 minutes, you'll be able to share with me the same sort of optimism I have regarding what the future of television will be and how it will actually matter to you. So the first thing I actually want to do here is share a secret. And I'm really, honestly, upset because they put me in the reason panel, because if I knew that, I wouldn't have put this slide, well, this slide over here. So actually, my first secret is I love television. And let me tell you another secret. Most of you also do. And speaking about how much you love television, how much you enjoy watching television, has become sort of a taboo nowadays. So you don't really sit on the table having dinner with your friends and say, I just saw this great show on television and I really enjoyed it, and last Saturday I did absolutely nothing and watched TV for the whole afternoon. You actually say, I read a great book, and that new movie by that French director we all love. And speaking about how much we love TV has become sort of this embarrassment that we can't share with our friends and with everyone else. And honestly, I think that is actually absolutely silly. Because television is probably one of the most important civilizational advancements we've had. And actually, it's not something that doesn't come, it comes in a line of a great tradition of innovation and of communication and storytelling. So what I'd like to get here is try to, first of all, just try to demyth a couple of numbers. When we talk about TV and how important TV is, someone that will try to convince you that TV is really important is going to show you this. And this number actually is very important. This is actually how much time an average Portuguese household spends watching TV per day. And these are OECD numbers, the most recent ones. And this is a big number. It's a lot of hours per day for a household. So you're like, this is a bad thing. They could be playing, they could be doing a lot of things. The problem is that they are also. So they're actually, you still have our lives. TV is not consuming our lives. TV is just a part of it, and it has a role. So the second skeptic would say, but this number is going down for sure, because there's so much more going on nowadays. TV is something that's so out of the 90s. We have the internet, we have the iPad, we have gaming consoles, we have everything. The problem is that that's not true either. So since 2002, actually this number has increased 11%, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's actually the 29 minutes. So actually nowadays, we see half an hour more of television than we did 10 years ago. That's actually quite impressive. But when we talk about the importance of TV and we say it's important because we watch a lot of TV, we're doing the cause-effect the other way around, right? TV is not important because we watch a lot of it. We watch a lot of it because it's important. And the reason TV is important is this, is when you sit down in front of the TV, you're engaging in an emotional, intense experience. You're essentially just following up on a long tradition of storytelling that started with paintings on a rock, moved to books, and that now is materializing what is still the best way to convey a deep, rich, emotional story, which is through the image, through video, and through this highly curated environment where professionals and creatives deliver their content to you. So, given that, we've now, and I hope the next time you are in a dinner party, you can be, at the end of this talk, unembarrassed to say, I really love TV. I really loved the last episode of Lost, although I didn't understand it. So, so to start now, to go to the future, I need to go back before. And to go back before, I need to look at what the future was the year my father was born. So I go back and I say, what was it in 1953 that the future looked like with the data they had at the moment? Because that's what I'm going to do. With the data I have today, I'm going to try to look into the future. And this was what they had. It was hard to get from here to where we are in terms of an imagination jump. So in 1953, you had a TV and you had a channel. If this was Portugal, you had a channel. 20-inch TV is about the same size of your laptop today. So this was this. And this was a huge innovation. So let's jump one generation. And this was the best-selling TV the year I was born, 1979. There are two innovations here. A remote control in the background, major thing. And color. So these are actually two innovations. If you lived in Portugal, by this time, it had taken you 25 years to move from one channel to two channels. So actually, you had a lot of choice now. And now I jump one more generation. And this, and excuse my product placement, is what my son, 5-year-old son, plays with every day. So for me, TV was 2 channels, maybe a couple more, since I was actually living in the border, and I got a couple of Spanish channels. So for him, TV is, he has 100 channels. He has more children's cartoon channels than I had channels overall. He has, but that's not enough. Now he can watch, he actually has a subscription VOD, so he can actually watch all the shows he wants non-stop by episode. So, and he can record stuff, he can, essentially, when I say turn off the TV, he grabs my iPad and he turns it on and he hides with it. So for him, all of this is normal. And I know we're not a regular household. But he's 5. This is normal. Watching TV on the iPad, on the computer, having 100 channels, being able to record, choose whatever he wants, it's normal. It's his baseline. Like ours was the slide before. So when you get this information, how does the future look like? When so much has happened, the jump in one generation is exponential. You did this small innovation jump, really important, but apparently small, to this world where you record, you have access to an enormous library of content, you have gigantic channel list, you have HD, you have a lot of quality. How do you jump to the next step? So what does the future bring? And honestly, I have no clue. But I couldn't tell that to the organization when they invited me, so I had to make up something past this slide. So what have I tried to do when we look into the future? I have no idea what technology will bring. And anyone who tells you they have an idea what the technology will bring is probably over-optimistic. So what we try to do when we think about what the future of television, what the new age of television will be, is think about what has the path been until now. Until now, there was an early stage of technology, let's call it, of television. Let's call it the age of the device, where when you talked about television, you were actually talking about buying a television, the device. This is the age of the device. You buy a television, you connect it, you watch TV. Nowadays, when you say, I need to get a TV, or when you talk about TV, most of the time you're not talking about the device. You're talking about your service provider and the service you get. You're talking about us, about our competition, about how good we are, how bad we are, about how much you like this service or hate that one. So we are in the age of the service. And the question is, so what's the next age? What does the next age bring, or what are the trends that will take us to the next age? So I'll try to summarize it to 3 trends that I believe are relatively technology free, so they will tend to exist with the current passive technology independently of the small choices being made. And I think the first one is the move away from broadcast. Broadcast just means that we all see the same thing. So everyone in Portugal sees the same thing. You can watch different channels, but each of the channels is transmitting exactly the same thing to all of you. And this has been true since the first day of the invention of television. Broadcast is the most significant feature of television throughout all of its history. And broadcast is actually going away. So actually, we're going to move to a world of unicast. And what does this mean? It means that instead of having a broad audience every time I have a TV channel, I'll have an audience of 1. And this is not like conceptual. It's literally that channel will be just for you. And because that channel is just for you, regardless of the technological implementation that allows for this to happen, it means that there's a lot of things we can do in that. That we can make sure you don't get any irrelevant stuff. We can make sure that you don't get the things you don't like. Or we can make sure that you actually get the things you like at the moment you like. And worst of all, we can make sure you don't have any advertising. Which for anyone who has a clear idea of how the model works today, let me break you, or for the others who don't, let me break a terrible news. TV is not for free. I'm not saying what you pay me to get the service. I'm saying that when you watch a channel, you're actually paying 20 minutes out of every hour of your time to watch TV. It's the most expensive. Don't think that what you're paying me makes any difference. That's irrelevant. Just value your 20 minutes per hour and see how much that costs you. So you're paying with an enormous amount of your time to watch advertising. And that doesn't need to happen anymore. Technology has broken that paradigm. The people making those decisions are no longer in charge of how things work. So this poses an enormous challenge to the industry. And Unicast will actually bring a lot of decisions. So you can choose not to pay and not have advertising. You can choose to watch whatever you want or whatever every other people want. The point is, now you have an option. Unicast will give me the option of treating you as an individual. And that moves me to my second trend, which is, so far, you've been anonymous. Every time a channel is transmitting, you're sitting in front of your TV, but your TV has no clue who you are. It has no clue who you are. It could be me, it could be my kid, and what's playing, the programming, the way it behaves is exactly the same, independently of who's watching. How have we tried to overcome this problem? We segmented channels into infinity. We have a hunting channel. We have a sailing channel. I won't tell you how many people watch those two. So we have adult content channel. I won't tell you how many people watch those too. So we have a lot of channels that we've broken to try to segment population into segments. But this is like a statistical approximation. It's like saying, I'm sure I can sell you a shoe because I've made the average, and I'm sure that that shoe will fit you on average. It doesn't really mean anything. So what we're moving is, technology allows us to authenticate you. When you come to the TV, we know who you are. And this is essentially driven by two things. Actually, a lot of the things that were presented in the first presentation of today, technology-wise, will allow for this. So when you sit in front of your TV will know it's you. Does it really matter if it's facial recognition, if it's voice recognition, if it's fingerprint in the remote control? It doesn't matter at all. That's just the part that the geeks like me enjoy exploring. And some of you, sure. So, but the key thing is, you sit in your sofa and the TV knows it's you. And that's an enormous change from what you have today. And this will obviously not just tap technology on the hardcore technology side, it will tap the social networking side. So nowadays we say Facebook login, but I don't care about Facebook login. No one actually does. I just care, I know who you are. I know who your friends are. I know what you like, what you don't like. I know more than what you wish I knew about you, for sure. But I can use all that information to your behalf by authenticating you into my service and to try to put it together with the previous trend, which is the unicast, say, because I can deliver a product to you and because I know who you are, the product will be completely different from what it is today. And I think these are two major trends influencing this, what the future of the service will be. And then I get to the last trend, which is TV is a closed platform. It's as close as you can imagine. So in practice, the number of people making decisions about what everyone else watches on TV, it's extremely small in the world. It's the content producers, mostly international, some local content producers, the content aggregators, your typical TV channels, and the content distributors, that's us. We're making all the shots. You have absolutely no opinion as of today. You can just express your opinion in one way, which is actually by sort of statistical inference, which is when they do the polling, when they see what the audiencias are, so when they see what the markets are, you actually, if you like a show or not, defines its fate. But you never know the things you could have liked and you never seen, because that option wasn't given to you. And this is a very closed ecosystem. There's a lot of reasons for that. Very high production costs historically, very high distribution costs, and thank God this is all going away. So until now, TV has been the exact opposite of the internet. In the internet, you just need to know how to blog and to not know how to write Portuguese to actually have a blog. So nowadays, that's going to change for TV. And how does this change? It changes essentially on two variables. First is cost of producing high-quality TV content has dropped by 3 orders of magnitude. So if you wanted to produce a high-quality TV show, you need to invest €1 million in equipment. Nowadays, you need a camera, a €1,000 camera, and a €1,000 Mac. That's what you need to produce high quality. That's better than anything of the general channels produced until 3 or 4 years ago. And I think this will break the barriers. You already see it online with all the video logs and all the video content being produced by all the companies and the sources. But the truth is, it only gets massified when it reaches the TV. The point that comes from there is that that's great, but how do I distribute it? Because you're still controlling the distribution. And that's where the internet comes in. And the internet has played a really big role in changing the way that we connect with our devices and PCs and everything, but it has a very limited impact on TV. And everyone 10 years ago was like, TV is going to be dead, long live the internet. They're going to merge. And that's the truth. The truth is that you don't care what the device is. You don't care. You just care that you either access content or you navigate the web. You're either sitting on your couch, working, or watching TV. And all these worlds merge. But that doesn't really matter a lot for the PC and the tablet industry because they're already there. For the TV, this is going to be a major revolution. For the single reason that until now, I am, or your service provider is, a monopoly in your living room. Even though you have alternative choices, they own the big screen. You sit there, and your choice is to watch what they show you. When this opens, actually, your YouTube channel can just be on TV. The videos you're promoting your small business, they can just be on TV. The things you're doing with your nonprofit and you're trying to get people engaged with, they're on TV. And the fact that the distribution costs disappear and the fact that the content costs, production costs disappear means that anyone can actually access this service. And these three trends will change dramatically what TV has been. And what do they converge to? So what's the next age of television? If I'm going to have you believe there's a next age, what is the next age and what is it all about? So we came from the age of the device. You said, when you talked about TV, you bought TVs, this big, this big, this big, until those gigantic Sony Trinitrons that you had to carry around in the 90s. So then it came the age of service. When you talk about TV, you talk about what we, cable, satellite, IPTV operators, provide you. And now we're getting to the age of platform. And the age of platform, TV has a platform, just means that all the rules that apply to the internet can now be applied to the large screen. And let's come back to that number, because you're spending a lot of time in front of that large screen, and that is an enormously valuable untapped resource for all of you. It's been tapped by us. We make our profit, we make our service evolve, we compete on that platform, but you've never been able to access it. And from now on, the new piece of the equation is actually you. So the age of platform in the TV, what it does, it opens it to you. If you're an entrepreneur looking for somewhere to start a business in a country that apparently has no money in the banks and apparently has very low cost of labor and has a lot of unemployed, let me give you my 5 cents on that. This is where you want to invest in the next 10 years. Because this is a pure technology, creativity-based business. There are no capital requirements. Distribution is there. We've already invested. Some of our competitors have invested billions all over the world. So the infrastructure is there. Technical capability is there. The only thing that's missing is actually for this to be open for you to explore it. If you have a nonprofit and you want to share your ideas, like TED has done brilliantly using the video platforms, first on the web and now on the TV in more and more markets, this is a way for you to communicate. If you want to share your content with your friends and family, why are you doing it in the small screen on that small resolution that is hidden and it's never open and you cannot zap to? Do it on the big screen. If you want to start a creativity business and you want to share your work, why don't share it on the TV, on the large screen where it deserves to be? So I think that in the end, the new age of television, it's not the age of the platform. It's the age of the user. Thank you very much.